Hey, this is Flo, and welcome back to the next episode of our 30-day weather app challenge. In the last one, we have started working with the API and started to display some actual content, and we noticed that the temperature is way too high. So I've actually looked in the API reference, and I found that you can specify the units that you want. So the ones that we are interested in are metric and imperial. So what we're just going to do is, let's make a bit of space here. Let's get into the weather service, and let's give this a last argument called unit of type string with a default value of, oops, I always press the Siri button for some reason, with default value of metric. And then we'll append this into our URL just behind the longitude. So and units equals units. Now you can see these temperature values now make a lot more sense. So current temperature 11.99 degrees Celsius or 10.18 degrees Celsius feels like temperature. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Now we should also add a degree symbol here and here. Let's just do this right now while we're at it. For that we will go into the model and add the degree symbol to the feels like temperature. And let's go into the overview and let's see where's the daily forecast. We don't need to preview. For the temperature also add the degree symbol. Okay. Next thing I would say is actually last episode we made all of these computed variables and they don't seem to be updating pretty or as good as we want them. And we also forgot to wrap this into a dispatch queue.main code block because we are updating UI and it's not allowed from a background thread. So we have to actually do that in the main thread. And as I said, these values all are not updating really good. So let me, and then you will see what I mean. So the top and bottom are loading, but the information box is not loading. And if I scroll around a bit and go back, then it loads. But I don't really like that. Because of that, I will just make these publish variables and assign them directly in our subscription. So let me do that and I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so I've refactored this a bit and the code is now much cleaner and it actually updates instantly now. And there was also one more issue in the value description stack. I had to change this bold text to a binding. I can show you real quick. Just change the state to a binding because strings are actually they're not passed by reference, they're passed by value, so they were actually not updating, so that was part of the problem. But now we've refactored this, it looks a lot cleaner, and now we have this binding, so this information box now also updates instantly, and yeah, so that's pretty good. Next thing I would say is update or change this date here. So for that I would say we will create a date formatter in the city overview model, which we can then use to format format the dates right here. So let me just do that and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I've added a date formatter now, which is just this variable here in our overview model, which has the format hours and then minutes, always with 2 digits. And in the city overview, I construct a string now like this. I take the model, its date formatter that I just showed you, and call the string from date method, where I just pass in the date of our forecast. And as you can see now in the simulator, it always shows the hour for which the forecast applies. Okay, so that's also done. Next step would be this next 7 days view. So let me see, where do we have it? I believe it's a link, yeah, next 7 days view. Now this is all hard-coded. What this needs now is a daily forecast or an array of daily forecast objects. If we go back to our weather data, and let me close a few things here just so it's easier to see. Let's go back to the weather data. and we have an hourly forecast, a minutely forecast, current forecast, and a daily forecast. And we'll just pass in an array of daily forecasts into our next 7 days view. So let's give this a state var forecasts of type weather data dot daily. Okay, preview obviously won't work, but I'll just remove the preview for now. Okay, then in this VStack, we don't want to hard code everything. We once again want to iterate. As we did with the hourly forecast, we want to iterate over the forecasts with an ID of date, if that's possible. Oops. Grab the forecast. Yeah, okay, so nice. And then display a daily forecast view for the date with an icon, high and low temperatures. So now I'm wondering, do we actually have high and low temperatures? So let's see. Yeah, temperature, min and max. So we can just grab that. For high, we can say forecast.temp.max. And this should have been a string. So forecast.temp.max. And then here, same thing. Forecast.temp.min. So we already have high and low values. Next, we need the icon. So let's see. We need to grab forecast.weather.icon for that. So let's say forecast.weather.first.icon. Let's actually make this like this and provide a default icon in the other case. Okay, and for the date, we actually need a date formatter here as well. So I'll just copy the date formatter that we already used here in our overview model. And in reality, you should probably create a model or a view model for the next 7 days view. But for the simplicity of this series, I'll skip that step. We actually don't care about the hours and so on. We just care about day and month. But I think they should not be capitalized. And now what we can say is date formatter.string from forecast.date. Then we can remove all of these. Now in our city overview, we need to actually pass the forecasts in here. So model.weatherdata.daily, and because we actually need to force unwrap this, what we need to do is wrap this in a check whether the weather data is not nil. So if model.weatherdata is not nil, only then we will show this navigation link. Okay, so let's click on next 7 days. And as you can see, it already works. We forgot to add the degrees symbol once again. So let's fix that real quick. Here we need a degree symbol, and here we need a degree symbol, and actually let's get into the daily forecast view because I want to have these trailing aligned. So let's grab this VStack and say alignment.trailing. Okay, let's click on next 7 days. And now this already looks pretty good. The only thing that we didn't change yet is the image. So we need to import SD-web-image and import SD-web-image SwiftUI and change this image to a web image with a URL from the string icon. Let's make it resizable. Let's make it scale to fit, and let's give it a frame of, let's say, width 40, height also 40. Don't forget a dot here. Okay, next 7 days. Why is it still not showing up? Because we only passed the icon instead of the actual URL, so we need to construct the URL. So let's grab it from here. Okay, copy. This is just the same stuff as we already did before. It's the last thing that we're doing in this episode. Okay, so now the icons also work. Maybe they should also be aligned in some sort, but yeah. Let's just fix that by giving this VStack a frame with a fixed width of, let's say, 50. So let's see. Yeah, now they look pretty dang good, but 50 is actually not enough. Okay, didn't expect that, so let's crank. Okay, so all of this looks good now. Now there are still a couple of things left. So first of all, the city name here, then the city name here, and we also still have the hard-coded coordinates. So in the next episode, we will think about how to let the user enter a location and then use that location to actually fetch the weather data from. Okay, so that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next one.